When you look across Jerusalem, you'll witness something incredible. The geography of Israel reveals the name of God. Given the current events in Israel, this feels like God shouting to the world, "This land is mine." And it's not just any name of God, it's the holiest one, so revered that Jewish tradition avoids its utterance to prevent mispronunciation. Even if this revelation occurred randomly, it would still be incredible because it's in Israel. But it's situated in a specific place, near Beit El, meaning the house of God in Hebrew, nestled between Jerusalem and Shiloh. So in this spot, where we find the story of Jacob's ladder ascending to heaven, God reveals his most holy name through Israel's geography. Isn't that astounding? Simply grasping what occurred here, its name, and what God unveils through the landscape sends shivers down your spine. But this isn't the first time God announces his name spectacularly in Israel. If we examine the topography of Jerusalem, the holiest city, we'll discover the name of God. Here's how. The three main valleys in Jerusalem form the Hebrew letter Shin, which is often seen on doorposts and gates in Israel because it's the first letter in the title of God, Shai. So once again, we find a letter representing the name of God, El Shai, ingrained in Jerusalem's landscape. Remarkable, isn't it? But that's not all. Some time ago, the most holy name of God was also spotted on the walls of Jerusalem, near the Temple Mount, the most sacred place on earth. If that doesn't make a statement, I don't know what will. God is clearly declaring to the whole world, "This place is mine, and I alone will determine its fate. I will decide who inherits it." The world will not divide the holy land that God has chosen and given to the Jewish people. Just listen to the Bible when it declares that God has placed his name in Jerusalem. Despite the idol worship during the time of the Jewish kings, he reminds them that his name resides in Jerusalem, urging them to honor and protect its sanctity. He even built altars in the house of the Lord, as he had said, "In Jerusalem shall my name be forever." But now go to the place in Shiloh where I first set my name. So we have two references in the Bible affirming that God designates specific places for his name to dwell. We had Jerusalem, of course, and Shiloh. Shiloh predates Jerusalem, serving as the location of the tabernacle. Between these two significant and publicly known places, Jerusalem and Shiloh, we find the manifestation of the holiest word in the Hebrew language, the most sacred name of God. This revelation is not just astonishing, it should serve as a warning to the world. As the world pressures Israel to divide the land, including areas like Shiloh and Beit El in the so-called West Bank, and even Jerusalem, which lies just outside but is often contested, it's crucial to understand the significance. The Temple Mount, the holiest site on earth according to the world, is subject to debate over its ownership. Yet, by proclaiming his name, God is asserting his sovereignty over this land. He is reminding us that this land is Judea and Samaria, not merely the West Bank. Let's continue our video on the creation of Israel and the miracles surrounding its rebirth. But before we delve further, I kindly ask you to share, like, and subscribe to this video. Your support helps spread this vital message to more people. Now, let's explore how the balance of power shifted in Europe during the 20th century. Countries in Central Europe and the Ottoman Empire saw this era as an opportunity for expansion, often resorting to war to achieve their aims. The toll of this devastating war amounted to 40 million deaths. The alliance between the German and Ottoman empires faltered, leading to the disintegration of their empires. These changes were crucial for the eventual creation of Israel in the Holy Land. After 2 millennia, British troops defeated the Ottoman army, and on December 11, 1917, British General Allenby, along with his troops, entered Jerusalem. There's a humorous anecdote surrounding this historic event. As everyone anticipated this momentous occasion, it's important to note that no Christian force had been in Jerusalem since the Crusaders. Excitement filled the air as the city awaited the arrival of General Allenby. Inside the old city, near Jaffa Gate, the British Army's cook unknowingly entered first. Everyone mistook him for General Allenby, and a commotion ensued. However, once it was clear that it was only the cook, he simply inquired about eggs for the general. With the eggs readily available, General Allenby made his entrance. Yet, the surprises didn't end there. Instead of riding triumphantly on his horse, Allenby dismounted and walked, a move that puzzled onlookers. When questioned about this unorthodox choice, he referenced Jesus' humble entry into Jerusalem on a donkey, stating, "How can I arrive on a horse when my master came on a donkey?" These were indeed exhilarating times for the Christian world, marking a return to Christian rule in the Holy City. English newspapers hailed it as a Christmas gift, given the timing. However, to comprehend the events that followed, we must rewind to before World War I. Allow me to introduce Chaim Weizmann, a British chemist renowned for inventing acetone, a crucial component of smokeless powder. This innovation played a significant role in aiding the British Empire's victory in the war. Mr. Weizmann's influence on the establishment of Israel is most evident in his dealings with Arthur Balfour, a representative of the right-wing party in Britain. At the onset of his political career, Balfour wasn't particularly sympathetic towards Jews and could even be labeled as anti-Semitic, a sentiment not uncommon at the time. However, as his career progressed, he began to support the idea of creating a Jewish nation. Balfour is best remembered for the Balfour Declaration, which we'll discuss shortly. Initially, Balfour didn't harbor much affection for the Jewish people, but he recognized the importance of managing the Jewish vote for the Conservative Party. At one point, the British proposed creating a settlement for Jews in Uganda, Africa, to which Balfour suggested to Weizmann, "We have many colonies. We can offer you one. It may not be ideal, but consider Israel's current condition. It's not much better. You have swamps there, but eventually, you can develop it into something suitable. It's warm there, reminiscent of Israel. You should accept it, because we have no better offer." Weizmann responded, "With all due respect, Mr. Balfour, this is unacceptable. It's akin to someone offering you Paris instead of London." Balfour retorted, "But they're not the same. We have London." Weizmann countered, "It's not our fault that while you had pigs roaming the fields in London, we had our kingdom in the land of Israel." Remarkably, 10 years later, in 1917, the same Arthur Balfour, no longer an anti-Semite, signed the Balfour Declaration as Britain's foreign minister. This document, forever immortalizing his name, marked a significant milestone as a major world power acknowledged the Jewish people's right to a homeland after 2 millennia. While the British were strategic in their wording, the declaration provided hope to the Jewish people. Shortly thereafter, the British entered Jerusalem and assumed control over the Holy Land. Could the timing be more perfect? After World War I, the entire Near East falls under British and French control, the victors of the war. With the British governing the territory that encompasses present-day Israel, they held the authority to allocate this land as they saw fit. Initially, it seemed promising for the Jewish people. Chaim Weizmann, being a brilliant chemist, contributed significantly to Great Britain. Leveraging his expertise, he wielded influence over the country's leaders. Another individual profoundly influenced by him was the Prime Minister of Great Britain, Lloyd George. George's upbringing instilled a deep reverence for the Bible and its contents. Weizmann astutely recognized this and tailored his approach accordingly. Rather than delving into political discourse surrounding the land of Palestine, Weizmann shifted the conversation towards biblical narratives. He recounted tales of Rebekah, Abraham, and the biblical cities of Israel, such as Shechem, Jerusalem, and Hebron. These biblical references elicited a profound emotional response from Lloyd George, for whom they held great significance. One poignant anecdote encapsulates George's deep love for Israel. On the day World War I concluded, Weizmann was scheduled to meet with Lloyd in his office. As the meeting was delayed, Weizmann patiently waited, unaware of the reason for the delay. When George finally invited him into his office, Weizmann observed tears streaming down George's face. He had spent the morning immersed in the Psalms. Reflecting on the devastation of the war, George remarked to Weizmann that amidst the evil, the creation of Israel was a glimmer of hope. In summary, the aftermath of World War I heralded a positive turn of events for the Jewish people. Since the 1st century AD, Jews had been dispersed across the globe, fulfilling biblical prophecy. However, in the 19th and 20th centuries, we witnessed the prophesied return of the Jewish people to the Holy Land. This return was facilitated by the Balfour Declaration and the overall favor of the British Empire. Following World War I, Jews seized the opportunity to return to their ancestral homeland, resulting in several waves of immigration known as Aliyah. This influx of immigrants significantly bolstered the population of the Land of Israel. Whereas the region had once been desolate during the Ottoman Empire, it now experienced rapid economic growth, with Jews and Arabs alike finding employment and hope in this burgeoning land. As the region grew increasingly attractive, more and more Arabs began to question why they should relinquish it to the Jews, asserting their own claim to the land. This marked the beginning of the decline in Britain's favor, as they grew concerned about the larger Arab population and their oil resources. However, this narrative will be explored further in another video. Reflecting on the significance of God's name appearing at Beit El and visible throughout Jerusalem and Israel, amidst calls for land division, it's evident that God remains steadfast in his commitment to Israel. Even in the face of opposition from all nations, God's promise to preserve the name of Israel endures. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to the channel for more.